Do you think you were prepared for war?
No way. No one is. Funny story. I got the call on my birthday. I had the call. I was programming and I had the call given to me and I thought it was a prank. It was like, oh, you've got to be up in Brisbane. And I said, Brisbane for what? And they said, oh, you're on the task group. I said, okay, get fucked. So I hung up the phone and then I got the call back again. And I was gobsmacked. I was like, 3 weeks to get up to Brisbane. It's lonely. It's lonely being, you know, especially myself. I was young. I was only 21.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility convincingly.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lambs to Lions podcast. I'm joined here by Mr. Frontline Fitness himself, Moe Faour. Did I say that right?
You did, brother.
I did all right? Cool. Welcome, Mo. It's a pleasure to have you here, man. This is actually the first time we've met and we've known each other for a long time, which is kind of weird. I didn't even realize that when you walked in the door. I was like, oh, fuck, okay. This is actually our first meet, which is actually pretty cool. I didn't realize how not tall you were. But do you want to give everyone a little bit of an introduction to who you are and what Frontline Fitness stands for?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Mo. I'm the 5'5" short guy that Rhys has never met in person. But Frontline has really been born now for 7 months, officially, brick and mortar place. But obviously I've followed the traditional path as like a PT in a commercial space.
Yep.
But the word Frontline stemmed from my time in the army. As you know, Rhys, spent 5 years there. But it all stemmed from that deployment to Iraq.
Yep.
You know, you and I have had that chat previously, but that deployment in 2018 for me was that pivotal moment, and that's where I had to learn to lead from the front. So that's where the name Frontline Fitness really stemmed from. And
that's where now, I guess, your slogan, your things you stand by is lead from the front, be the people that, I guess, create the change, set the change. That's where that comes from as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's definitely the slogan that goes behind everything that we do within that business, along with a word that we say, Ubuntu, which I think you've come across as well. But I'm a big people's person, but I'm a big person that leads from the front and lead by example.
Yeah, okay. So let's we'll dive into the business stuff in a sec, man. But just so we can get a good understanding of who you are, the filters of which you look at life and business through, what are some of the bigger lessons you've learned from being deployed into Iraq?
Gratitude.
Yeah?
Gratitude.
I've got it tattooed on my hand, bro.
Show us.
Grateful.
Crazy.
Always.
Man, dead set. Going to a country like that and being in a position where we have everything at our fingertips here, we really do. Going there and realizing that there is really nothing out in those countries. You got to really earn it. And here it's kind of like we almost get given everything on a platter. So yeah, when I got back, I literally remember the first coffee I had, and I was at a cafe. I got back to civilization, and I was like, I literally took half an hour, 45 minutes just sipping on this coffee and enjoying the traffic, enjoying that slow motion life, not having to worry about a freaking rocket being shot at you. If you know, whereas in those countries, mate, that was striving for simply a box of water. Like they would ask us, could you just bring us some water today?
Yeah, wow.
And I was like, yeah, I'll bring you two. Don't worry about that. And then, as I said to you, when I got back to Australia, I would just sit back and really enjoy the smaller things that we have here. And I think that was that pivotal moment in my life, mate, was that deployment to Iraq.
Do you think you were prepared for war?
No way.
No?
No one is.
Okay.
No one is.
Speak to that a little bit. What do you mean?
It's lonely. It's lonely being, you know, especially myself. I was young. I was only 21. And I only had 3 weeks notice as well. Funny story. I got the call on my birthday. I had the call. I was programming and I had the call given to me and I thought it was a prank. It was like, oh, you've got to be up in Brisbane. And I said, Brisbane for what? And they said, oh, you're on the task group. I said, okay, get fucked. So I hung up the phone and then I got the call back again. And I was gobsmacked. I was like, 3 weeks to get up to Brisbane. And I was being a PT at that time.
And how long from Brisbane to deployment? What's
3.5 months up there
yeah.
as like pre-deployment training.
Yep.
And then from there it's 6 months, 6.5 months over in those countries.
Wow.
And yeah, that I wasn't prepared.
Okay.
You're not prepared. You're never prepared. But I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later in this podcast. But that was my opportunity to be resilient in life and find new levels of growth. I didn't know it then. I really didn't know it. I only know it now, 5-6 years on.
Yeah.
But that moment there was my opportunity, and I took it. Simple.
Let's kind of, I guess, fast forward on the time horizon of your life a little bit, and you can look back now with that lesson and say that's where you learned resilience. What were some of the scenarios that most amount of resilience came from?
The one thing that stood out to me the most was saying bye to my girlfriend at the time, but now my fiance, at Sydney Airport. Sat there. Now in the army, I was a reservist at that time, so I was not a full-timer. Going up to a full-time regiment as a reservist, you're almost like an outsider. You're a big-time outsider.
Okay.
So for me, sitting at Sydney Airport, it was like a movie, saying bye to my girlfriend and sitting there and going, okay, you are literally on your own. It's time to lead from the front. That was literally what I said to myself. And that point there was like my pivotal moment of growth. It was like, okay, it's you versus you. Go up there and show them what you got. And that's all I had. I had fitness behind me, and that was it. So I went up there and I just did everything I fucking could to the highest potential.
It's funny that you say that the big thing that stands out to resilience, like I want to highlight this because I'd imagine most people would assume when we talk resilience, when it comes to being deployed, it'd be a crazy story from deployment. But the hardest thing the biggest lesson that you learned was just from saying goodbye.
Yeah, literally, because you don't know what's there. Right.
Was that because like you were like, I guess it was this thought process of like questioning your mortality of whether you were coming back or what it was going to be? Or was it more so just what the training was?
It was more so you didn't know what you're going into.
Yep.
Literally.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So it didn't feel like it was the last goodbye. It just felt like a whole new chapter.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, here comes a whole new 9-10 months of my life. I don't know what I'm in. I don't know what I'm in for.
Yeah.
But like, buckle in and let's go.
Yeah, strap your boots. Let's pack
literally.
a lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, and literally, and that's just how it was. And yeah, as I said to you, Rhys, that was a pivotal moment in my life right there. Taking that flight from Sydney to Brisbane was like, okay, here we go.
It's a big step for a 21-year-old.
100%, but I had to.
Yeah.
I had to. Yeah, I didn't really know where I was going. I just felt like I was being a PT in a commercial gym. I just didn't feel like I had any opportunity though. So when that came on my table, I was like, take it, Mo. This is your time to obviously earn some good money over there.
Yep.
And think about life, what you really want to do. And that's what I'm saying. Like when I was over there and you have nothing and you see people who have nothing, you come back and that fire in your belly is like 10 times. It's crazy.
Do you think that really got rid of the, if we kind of skip forward to this into actually really diving into your business, do you think that got rid of the fear of failure, fear of the unknown when it comes to business and just to back yourself 100?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like once you go from having everything to nothing, you realize like take a risk, because if you lose,
your version of loss is not that bad.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I think that's one of the big lessons I've taken from just running the businesses that I have. Like the worst case scenario isn't so bad.
It's not.
Like I think you and I are very similar in the way we think about money, bro. Like you can make more. Like you can make more.
Man, I say to my fiance all the time, I'm like, if this gym doesn't work out, it's okay. I can go pay $300 a week at a commercial gym and I'll go get my books full.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah, and you do it in 3 days.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm not scared to take a risk anymore. Like I'm in Melbourne for 4 days, but I made sure I came here today to speak to you because I know how pivotal you have been in my life with my business. So I want to come here and kind of enjoy the time. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Because you've got a skill set too. Like I don't want to take the spotlight at all. You're a hard fucking worker and you know how to take action, which is what the exact reason why I thought it'd be good to get you in. So let's talk about that startup, man, where that, I guess, that lessons that you've learned from deployment and then that combination of the character that you are and your hardworking nature. Like let's talk startup because you jumped right in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think getting back from that tour had opened up my eyes, opened up my doors. Obviously having some money in the bank allowed me to kind of make moves then.
Yep.
So we bought a property, and then from that point on, COVID. So when COVID happened that first time, back in 2020, I was literally just doing PT sessions on my own, and then I would, do every couple of days I'd clean my gym in my garage. Every time I'll turn off that light, I was like, this feels like my own little space. And then when I got back into the commercial gym after that first lockdown, I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
It's time to move.
Yeah.
Next lockdown happened. That was the game changer. I was like, okay, this is it. Like from this point on, you're going to look for your first place and make moves. And
it's funny, man, because I can give you, I guess, the other side of that coin is like you were before lockdown talking about hiring, getting a new staff member and so on. And that whole thing flipped because like whole passion changed. Like, no, I want my own fucking space.
Yeah.
The answer to growth wasn't more people. It was more area.
More area, more opportunity.
Yeah.
And my own ownership of that place.
Yeah.
Because with that gym has now come different, like crazy opportunity, crazy people coming through the doors, meeting new people, and being able to give value to others, right? And that was one thing I want to keep doing is providing value. But going back to the startup kind of story here, so as that last lockdown happened back last year in 2021, that was a game changer. So I had gone around and I was looking at places and finally found the spot that I wanted. Now, going from putting in that kind of offer to actually signing contracts was 2-3 months. So by that point, we were midway through that lockdown period, and that was the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
No one knew when we were getting out.
Yep.
No one knew how freight was going to work.
Freight was fucked too.
Freight was fucked.
Yeah.
But you just make it work.
Yep.
Right? You make it work. If it's your true passion and it's something you really want to do, you just find a way.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's rewind a little bit. So you now you own your own gym, right? You've got a pretty substantial client base with a great culture.
Yeah.
But it didn't start there.
No.
So you said you kind of came up and did your time as a coach in the commercial space. I know there'd be a lot of coaches that do listen to this that go, okay, that's the long-term goal, is to exit my commercial facility and either grow into something of my own or move away from that in a different aspect, whether it be online or whatever it might be. What do you attribute that transition to, and how can we replicate it?
It's a big one because it takes balls. If you're a man.
Nah, bro. Figuratively,
yeah.
Man, I think anyone can have balls.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But you got to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Take a calculated risk and go. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pause you there. Calculated risk.
Yes.
What do you mean? Because you are probably the person to talk to about calculated risk, having your experience, have where you've been in the world, risky place. You know what real risk looks like.
100%.
So let's talk calculated risk.
100%. So for me, I knew what I wanted long term. So in terms of the space, in terms of staff, in terms of everything like that, I know what I want in 10 years' time.
Yep.
So I reverse engineered that. I said, okay, what do I want in 5 years? What do I want in 3? And then 1 year and then 6 months. Okay.
Yep.
For me, it was about legacy. It was about having my family, having the house, all that kind of stuff. Now, I told myself I want to earn X amount by this time. How do I do that? Well, I need a space. I need this. I need this. So I just kind of put a plan in place. Obviously, I worked with yourself and another mentor, Kyle, and we all worked together and kind of put this plan in place and actually doing my numbers, working out the business model and actually figuring out how can this business be profitable before anything, right? So I have a tattoo on my arm. It literally says direction is more important than speed because people go nowhere fast.
That's great, bro.
Right.
That's so accurate too.
Yeah.
And I think we would probably also say that we've both done that too.
100%.
I think it's natural in business. You feel like you're busy.
Yeah.
But you're not making moves.
Oh man.
So accurate.
And I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
You're not perfect.
No.
We probably still do it till today.
100%.
Right. We try to get busy. We try to stay busy. But we're not actually doing anything to getting a return on that investment. But
100%.
at the end of the day, as I said to you, it's a calculated risk for me. And that was a calculated risk. It was like, okay, you can stay in this gym and earn X amount and hire more staff in this commercial space, or take your risk that you've already planned out and go and action it.
Okay, because like, what's the other side of that coin? Because I feel like I'm pretty, I don't know, if we use the term, if we go with your analogy, I'm pretty ballsy when it comes to risk. I'm very risk averse, and I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Because the way I see it, man, if you want to play safe, go to prison. Like, that's the safest place to be. Like, if you want security, go to fucking prison. If you want to make money, you want to make moves, strap your fucking boots up and let's go.
Yeah.
So like, I look at like all the times that I've made decisions in business, and granted, I've put myself against some pretty big fucking walls, and I've been able to kick them down and, you know, move forward. But I think that calculated risk often gets over glorified. I think sometimes you just got to back the only thing that you can, and that investment is you. Like, the only thing you control is you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You are right there. I can't say anything more, bro. You are right. Because
I think in business, bro, like, it's just like, if you're not prepared, if you're going to sit there and, like, this isn't me saying don't run your numbers and put yourself into fuck off debt and so on and so forth, but if you have an idea and you want it to fucking blow up, like, bro, the owner of Airbnb, the CEO, one of the co-founders of Airbnb, got knocked back by like 5 pro investors, said it was a shit idea. Bro, it's a fucking billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar company. Ridiculous.
He bet on himself.
100%.
Yeah. I've been doing talks to a lot of schools lately, and that's literally one of the things that I talk about. It's like, bet on yourself because no one else will.
I heard a quote the other day, and it says it quite well. You only have one name, so invest in it accordingly. You can buy everything else twice.
100%.
Yeah, can't buy your name.
No way.
You got to go all in.
Yeah, you do.
Make it work.
You're not wrong. You do. And yeah, I'm big on betting on yourself. I'm big on kind of like understanding the costs that comes with decisions.
Yeah. And that's a perfect example. Yeah. Like, knowing your cost, not even just like financial, but the actual outcome.
Yep.
That's where it no longer becomes risk as long as you know the problem, right? Like, if you're sitting like, we're just throwing caution to the wind and just going for it, like, we'll just see what happens. Like, okay, maybe you're a fucking idiot. But if you go down the road of like, at least I know the downside here and back myself anyway, you're going to move forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, failure is a precursor to success.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you know.
So what did that look like for you, man? If you're backing yourself 100%, you're the startup business owner coming back from Iraq. You started the business before, actually, yeah?
I was a PT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that look like? Because you were, it's probably a bit of an eye-opener for a lot of people. What is classified as busy as a personal trainer? I think you fucking blew out of the water. So what was like your session count at your peak before you shifted over to?
Oh man, I was pulling 50, 60 sessions a week.
Easily.
Easy. And again, that comes back to trying to stay as busy as possible and thinking that's the only way you can make money.
Yeah, well, at the time it was.
Yeah.
At the time it was. It's a sign of the times. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you didn't have that next thing.
Yes. And when you're at that capacity, it's like, what's next? How do I move? How do I make more money?
Yeah.
How do I get my time back?
100%. Yeah.
Right. And then to earn more money, you have to either value your time more or charge more, and then you lose clients. And then it's just a domino effect of like more time, and less time for yourself. And that was the rabbit hole I was getting into. And then that's where I was like, okay, there has to be a better way.
Yeah. And do you think you've built that better way yet? That you're still, do you think you're all the way away from time for money?
No way in the world. I'm still doing 16, 17 hours.
Yep.
But it's for a bigger cause.
Yep.
And I'm more than happy to do it. And I'll continue doing it until I'm at that stage where I can pull back and, you know, we've got a few more staff on board and so forth. But at the moment, you know, in a startup, I'm wearing all the hats, man. And I have to.
I think there's only really one way. This might be a little bit of a knowledge drop for you as well, bro. Like, I think there's only one way to create an escape from the time to money trap. And it's an acronym, DARE. So it's digital, automated, repeated, and evergreen. You can do that, time for money doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. So you make it digital, make something that's easy to access, right? It's automated. So it's just there and updates for clients. It's simple, reoccurring. So they pay you repetitively, and you only make it once. It's evergreen. You only water it once, stays green forever.
100%.
No more time for money.
Yeah.
You build that into Frontline very easily.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we can.
So it's cool, man. Cause like I've seen like this process of like, just like the hustle, and you were fucking hustling, bro. Like, you were putting in time, and it was like, excuse me. It was like this penny dropped. You were just like, light bulb. Oh, fuck this. I wanted my own space. I want ownership. So like, would I be right in saying that ownership is one of your values within the business?
You're probably not wrong, man. Yeah. You're probably not wrong. Yeah, you're reading me quite well.
Where's that come from then?
Probably a sense of no ownership when I was growing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Explain that.
I was kicked out of home at 18. So, and that's partially the reason why I took that trip to Iraq, mate.
Yeah.
It's because as I said to you, I had nowhere to live. When you're living with your fiance and you don't have your own space, especially as a young kid growing up, 20, 21, you need your own space sometimes.
You learn how to become an adult.
Yeah. And, so I guess the ownership side of me has come through because of that time where I had nothing. And I don't want this to be like a sad story or anything, but I don't need...
It's perspective, I think.
Absolutely. So I'm sure there's probably people watching this, listening to this that are probably in the same boat as me or potentially going through it. You're not always going to stay in those dark times if you bet on yourself.
Yeah.
100%.
Because this is a big assumption, but is this why you've been asked to talk at the school?
Yes.
Because you were the guy that no one ever thought would do well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's literally the reason. Literally the first day I got back to Sydney, I was in a shopping centre. Now, obviously, as you can expect, when you're seeing brown walls all the way around you in the same uniforms for 6 months, it's a bit difficult to come back into civilization.
Of course.
But I was walking in a shopping centre and I bumped into one of my old teachers by accident.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm so sorry." I kept walking and then she stopped me. She said, "Mo." I said, "Oh, so sorry. Hey."
Yeah.
And then we were having a bit of a chat. And I just told her, like, "I'm so sorry. I literally just got off the fucking plane from this place." And, and then we were chatting and then she starts bawling her eyes out because of where I was to where I am now at 21. And that was where that opportunity came for me. She, I guess, found some inspiration behind being this troubled kid to now being a bit of a mature, older man.
Yeah.
And then now at the age of 26, I'm able to go to these schools and present to these kids, especially the younger teenagers who don't have resilience, who don't bet on themselves, who feel like they're stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
And now they're looking at me and saying, well, this guy could probably help them with their career and building them as young men.
Yeah. What are the three biggest attributes you think have helped you get through that startup phase? Because startup is hard.
Yeah.
And I think as a business owner, if we can give these, let's say that you're talking to these kids at the school or you're talking to someone just starting their business, what are the three things that they need to know?
Resilience.
Yep.
You need resilience. You need to learn how to kind of stand back up when you're being put down and understanding, as I said before, like failure is a precursor for success. So be okay with failing. Probably another one would be simply betting on yourself. Like, as you said, you've only got one name. So bet on yourself, take risk, calculate it or not.
Yeah.
Okay. A third one will probably be support, man.
Yeah.
Having a good support system around you is key. I was lucky enough to have good mentors around me at that time. I'm lucky enough to have really good, high, successful clients that I could also, lean on. And, those people don't have Instagram, but they're running really successful businesses.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
the network does help a lot.
Absolutely, man. And just constantly reaching out to people who are doing what you want to do at a higher level.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing. I was literally hitting up people who were literally had their own gyms, or I was listening to podcasts of people who had opened up their own gym, and I was constantly listening to what they were saying and understanding, okay, it's not only me who's feeling this way as a startup, it's not only me who's feeling these financial scares.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's
so. Fast forward a little bit, opening the gym. Talk to me about that, because I know that you guys faced some challenges in that process, and it became far more expensive than you thought it would. So let's go down that road. Man,
yeah, 100%. I couldn't believe how much more I was spending than what I budgeted. So that's inevitable.
Yep.
Especially in Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay. You get certifiers coming through left, right, centre. And before I knew it, I was spending 40, 50 grand on certifications. That was it.
So what does that get you?
A paper. A piece of paper to say that your aircon is okay and it's working functionally. Like it's fucked, mate. Like
Yeah.
I actually didn't even budget for that.
Yeah,
That
of
was a
course.
scary thing, was I didn't budget for certifications and certifiers and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a gym owner listening to this, please look into that, because
Yeah.
that's where you're going to waste a lot of your money or spend a lot of your money. But they were like obstacles for me as well. Going through a DA application, fuck me, man. That plus the OC certifications, like they're the hard parts of like getting a gym opened.
100%.
Ordering equipment, that's
Yeah.
that's easy. That's the fun part, as you know.
100%. Yeah, it's like Christmas.
Yeah, man. But then, actually getting those doors open, best moment of my life.
Yeah, worth it. Worth all the stress.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. There's nothing better than seeing people, and I still till today, I stand back sometimes, and I don't do it enough, but I step back in my own facility in the corner. I look around the gym, and I swear to you, I shed tears.
Yeah, same.
These people, man, these people come into my facility because they want to train there. They enjoy the community.
The best thing is they leave better.
And
They leave better than they came in.
100%, man. 100%. Like, it's unbelievable what a good, strong community can do for someone. I get messages, emails from people from my own facility saying how much we have improved their mental health. Not even physical, Rhys.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Big part to play, bro.
Crazy, bro.
Because I guarantee you never thought that 21-year-old kid would be improving people's mental health.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. And I feel like the reason why we can do this is because I potentially have been in their position, or I can empathize with them.
Yeah.
Because I've either gone through those dark stages like they have, or I've seen someone go through it.
What are some of the bigger lessons that you've learned along the way? And maybe not just financial, but like from opening the gym. What are some of the things that you think, like, let's say, like, if we give people a framework that are wanting to maybe go down that road, if they were to build a foundation of like, what do they need to create a well-functioning gym that builds culture, gets good results, and makes people want to come pay them money? What's going on, everyone? Hope you're well. I won't keep you too long. I know you're hopefully enjoying the podcast. And if you are, let us know. It would be really greatly appreciated if you can jump on, give us a quick 5-star review. You don't even need to stop listening to the show. If you're on Spotify, you can do it in less than 10 seconds. And it does help the show grow a lot. It helps us, get a bit of confirmation bias that we're doing the right thing. And just to say thank you, if you guys do that, we're going to be picking one person every month to guest spot on the podcast that has shared, liked, commented, subscribed, and interacted with what we do. Big thank you. Let's get back to it.
I don't think there's a recipe to it. I don't think there's a way you can build community.
What's worked for you then?
What's worked for me is transparency.
Yep.
Really being honest with our members from the get-go. As soon as someone walks through that door, they know how they're going to be treated, and they know exactly what they're in for. Okay. Cool. We don't fuck around. Like, when you walk through that door, you're going to be in an environment that's extremely vibrant. Okay. I'm strict on zero judgment. Okay. And I'm just there to communicate. Communication has been a massive pivotal aspect of our facility.
Yep.
Because the moment someone walks in and they feel like they have to hold back everything,
yeah,
and there's no trust between them and their coach, or them and the others around them, they start to feel insecure. They start to hide. And that's what you see in commercial spaces.
Yeah.
Is people's got their headphones on and no one talks.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
But
so how do you build that trust? Because like, I think it's easy to say we need trust, we need transparency, but how do you do it?
hard conversations.
Yeah.
Man, I have the hardest conversations with my members and clients.
An example.
I don't want to go like.
Don't need to go names.
No, yeah. Trying to think of a really good example of like a hard conversation. Can't give you one, but I can give you some with staff.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like it comes down to staff as well.
Fully agree, bro.
You know,
agree.
yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Staff is probably even harder.
It really is, but I feel like that community and that transparency and the communication comes from what we do as staff together, and then trickles down from there. So like within our own little team that we have at Frontline, you know, I'm more than happy to pull them up on the gym floor if they're doing something incorrectly. You know, I've caught one of my coaches at the startup phase for probably first month or two, using different softwares to program other clients not within the business.
Yeah, no, not on.
Pull that up straight away.
Yeah.
that was a really hard conversation. Why? Because this individual is an amazing coach, amazing person, but that could have been a firing point.
That could have been, and you know, and that aside, man, it's like it creates confusion within the business. Like,
Absolutely.
why it could have been a firing point is because it's like reduces brand consistency, brand equity, and it creates confusion with clients. The customer journey's fucked. Like, that's hard.
Yeah. And I had to pull that up there. I was like, do I let this slide? What did I just see? Nah, maybe you saw something a little bit different. I was like, no. You know what you saw.
Yeah.
Conversation now.
Cool. How did that go?
Great. Amazing.
Yeah. How did it go before you had it in your head?
Fucked.
Yeah.
Fucked.
It's fucking funny that, hey.
Crazy. And even till today,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, do I have this conversation with this person? And I'm like, yeah, do it.
It's always worse in your head.
Always.
Man, one thing when it comes to staff management, one thing that I've learned when it comes to really hard conversation, it's like, it's never easy, but they put you in that room. They put you in the space where you have to have the conversation. Not your fault.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for extreme ownership, but sometimes that can go too far where you become like the pacifist of the business, and can't be that when you're the owner. You can't be that. You need to have the business's best interest at heart all the time. And if someone's put you in a position where you have to say something that fucking sucks, it's like, that ain't you. That is not your fault, but you have to deal with it.
100%, man. 100%. We were talking about this just before we went live, was leadership, and learning how to kind of transition from that entrepreneur to leader to, you know, operator, and kind of working between there. And for me, I'm still growing there.
Yeah.
Right. And
do you feel like you have like a pretty good idea of what your percentage split is there? Like, I spoke to this about, who did I speak to this about? Danny. We had someone on, she runs an art company, right? And her whole business model is like, for her to make money, she has to be the technician. She has to do the painting. No one else can do it, right? So then she has an ops manager, but no one in her company is doing management, general management, leadership, or entrepreneurship. She's spreading herself through all this other shit. It's like, you just need to do technician. Go hire for everyone else, right? Like, do you have a good idea of where you spend your time, or where you should spend your time? That's probably a better idea, better question.
Yeah. I'm starting to transition into like a manager role,
right,
where I can manage my team, and less technician on the gym floor doing sessions, things like that. But again, at the startup, you have to wear everything. Yeah.
What was your experience like that, more so in your own facility? Because like, I think, yes, in early startup, you have to wear every hat. But then when you go into your own facility, those hats probably get fucking heaps bigger.
Yeah.
Just the problems that if you don't wear the hat come way quicker, way bigger.
Yeah.
How did you cope? Like, how did you deal with that, man? Because like, one thing I try and do with this pod is not just talk about the story, but talk about the lessons learned, so people can skip the queue, so to speak, and not have to fucking deal with it.
Absolutely. Mate, structure.
Yeah.
Structure helped me out a lot because I knew what I had to do and when I had to do it. Okay. So obviously coming from the army, I'm very regimental. Okay. So everything was structured from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed and everything in between.
Yep.
All right. So I think if you can have a sense of structure, the way, however you want to structure it, go for that. And that way it alleviates any kind of anxiety behind what needs to be done now. It's like, no. You need to be a technician between these hours. Yeah. And then you're the manager between these hours. And then you can go and become a technician again between these hours. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. All right. I kind of go, okay, between these times of the day, I'm a technician.
Yep. It's a good way to look at it, because you segment and compartmentalize of like, you reduce the noise, I'd assume. Like, it's just like, these hours tasks is this.
100%. And so for me, and I'm still getting better at it. I just got to go, okay, you know, between 6 a.m. till 10 a.m., you're the technician, you're the PT, you're the coach. Just do that.
Yeah, cool.
Right. Because I sometimes like to use like a priority system.
Yep.
And I strictly believe you cannot do more than 1 to 2 things really well in your life at any given moment.
Yeah.
So that's why I use that structure system, where it's like, if you're going to be a technician at that time, you focus on being the best technician you can fucking be at that time.
Yeah.
And when you're that manager, go manage people, go manage,
Go do it properly. Yeah. Diluted focus gets diluted results, bro.
100%, man.
Like, I've noticed that whenever I was like, I no longer coach anymore in the business. Got the staff that do that. But when I was like pumping with coaching still, it was like, fuck, I'm spinning all these plates and 7 of them are falling down every day.
Fuck,
So, like, you can't do it, mate. Like you dilute your focus. Like I had another business as well at the same time. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Just had to go all in on the one thing. And I think at some point, once you get enough freedom, you buy freedom, right? The business buys freedom. And you go, okay, cool. Now I'm going to go here. I'm going to do this thing.
Yes, absolutely. And I can feel that coming with Frontline. I can feel myself slowly transitioning into that managing role.
Yep.
Especially once we hire a little bit more, I'll be able to take one of our other staff into that managing role.
Great.
And then I'll just be able to observe everything else and go and kind of, because I love networking. I love building relationships, not heaps, just really honest relationships with the right people. And that's what I want to do for the business, is go out there and really build some really good relationships and kind of build on that.
Yeah. Leverage partnerships.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Because like you probably heard it all. Like you can go better and further as a team and make it work well, but you got to have the right people. So like, what's your vision for Frontline now? One, with expansion of people, but two, where's it? Like, what's the end goal? What's the end of the tunnel for Frontline?
Look, to be honest, I would love to ideally get a few more facilities up and running in the next few years.
Would you want to do that as an independent owner or franchise it?
Independent owner.
Cool.
Yeah.
Why?
Ownership.
Why do you want? That's great. Why would you? Because like from a business perspective, franchise could create a larger opportunity, but personal ownership also creates other opportunities. So what's the side of the coin that you look at?
Okay, so it's the customer experience and the product that I struggle with. So, and what I mean by that is, if we franchise, I start to worry, okay, is that franchise over there going to
be a good representation?
Exactly right. And yeah, that's probably a reason why I wouldn't go down the franchise route. Okay. So yeah, sense of ownership, staying independent and going from there.
Yep.
But I really just want to get fucking famous in my own hometown first.
That's great. Cool.
That's our goal.
Do you think you're there?
Yeah, man. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're 7 months in, already been nominated as local business award finalists.
Amazing.
Myself personally, been nominated for Outstanding Business Person of the Year.
Yep.
So these awards are in 2 weeks' time, so I'll let you know how they go.
Is that Young Entrepreneurs Award or?
No, it's the most Outstanding Business Award of the year. So
awesome.
Local business. Yeah, man.
It's exciting, bro.
Fucking pumped,
Is that through
bro.
like local council or?
Yes.
That's really cool, bro.
Yeah, man. So there's noise. Frontline's making noise, that's for sure. It's just about continuously making it louder and louder.
What do you think was the thing that first plugged that auxiliary in, created that noise?
My ownership. Nah, it's
because you guys, I'm surprised you haven't brought it up yet. Actually, you guys do something different. You're not just a gym.
Oh, we're definitely not just a gym.
Yeah. So what else does the facility offer your clientele?
Our recovery zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a recovery zone there that no other gym has. I think we're the only gym that has a float tank.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Or the only one that matters. Talk to me about that, bro. Because I know when you first had that idea, I think I might have been one of the first people we spoke about it on a vision and company perspective. And I, to be honest, didn't see it. I was like, what do you mean? Why? And you had a fucking good answer. It was the strategy behind having a recovery zone was very innovative and forward thinking. So where'd that come from and why?
I just thought it was a massive differentiating point for us, especially where we are in Sydney. There's a lot of gyms around us who do the same fucking thing.
Yep.
All right. And I was like, how do we be different? Number one was our model. Our model's completely different to what's around us. And number two was having that recovery zone. And for us, it's a little bit of a post-purchase strategy as well. So obviously,
Glad you said that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So, well, I mean, once we have a member come and sign up, we like to offer them some exclusive offers. We give them a float for free or something like that. From that point on, they'll probably enjoy it. It's fancy. It's not seen before in a gym. They'll tag us. They'll post us.
Yeah. Shoot me through some photos and put it up over the screen.
Yeah, done.
So that's obviously like nurturing process, post-purchase value. And then are they upselling into another higher membership or purchasing on a casual rate or what's the go? Yeah,
usually it's just on a casual rate, but we like to upsell them. I mean, if they're enjoying it, we give them that top tier membership, which is like our Frontline VIP membership.
Full inclusive.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. But yeah, man. So as I said, like the reason why we've kind of created that recovery zone or that frontline recovery zone is simply two things: post-purchase strategy for us, and it's a massive differentiating point.
Has that been received well? Because I think a lot of people can do a shit ton of market research and be like, oh, this is what the market needs, what the industry needs. I need to be different. But sometimes it doesn't actually land. It's like, oh, well, cool. But they didn't actually want it or care for it. Do you feel like your clientele actually now want and care for that kind of thing?
Yes and no, Rhys.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and say, yeah, it's fucking cranking. Yes and no. So yes, some of them who care a little bit more about kind of like that athleticism and that kind of like, how do I express it? Like that recovery side of their training.
Yeah, there's just that added notch on the belt kind of thing.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that 1% up. But some people don't. Some people want to get in there and just go, and that's understandable.
So how do you leverage? Because I think there's a whole community of people that love recovery. That's all they fucking love.
And that's our next move. So we're slowly transitioning into membership solely for the recovery zone.
Great.
Absolutely, like dissecting it away from frontline gym.
Yep.
And making it kind of its separate.
Yeah, and then do you know what you can do? You can essentially like cross leverage and cross sell. You have your frontline membership that also upsells into the recovery membership, and then you have your recovery membership that also upsells into frontline.
We're talking on the same wavelength, brother.
Yeah, it's smart, bro. That's good. And I'd assume you're also going to go down the road of like partnerships, like chiropractors, yoga studios, and so on. They're the people that love recovery. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're already on that route.
Right.
So we've spoken to a few combat sports gyms, things like that. As you know, I'm going into wrestling.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of those facilities obviously care about their recovery. So and saunas, things like that for making weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're starting to do around the area, is just kind of plugging in there and giving them exclusive offers
around the area. You just really lent into your heritage there, didn't you?
Yes, brother.
Brother, the area. No, that's awesome, bro. I think that's fucking, I want to say that's a big move on your part, because like the recovery center, for those that probably may not be aware of this shit, like gym stuff in general is fucking expensive. Recovery shit is even more so.
Yeah.
And it comes with its own problems, because like, gyms. You don't know recovery.
Bro, I've changed the fucking pump for that float tank 3 times now.
Yeah.
Right,
and you never thought you would,
no.
hey? Yeah. Man, right. I was talking to the owner of Car Swap yesterday, and he literally was like, oh, because they do like digital billboards and shit. He's like, I never thought I'd have to learn how to fucking weld, but today I welded. And I'm like, how'd you go? And he's pulling out photos of his weld. He's like, see, I'm good.
100%,
like,
man.
Talk about wearing the hats.
Fuck yeah,
like,
technician.
Yeah, bro, you're fucking changing the pumps.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, like what? Again, I'm okay with that. Why? Because I'm learning. I'm okay with that, man.
I don't know what movie this come from, but I'm pretty sure it's a thing. Maybe it was one of the NFL coaches, but it's like the sweeping of the floor, the owner.
Nah, man, that's the All Blacks.
All Blacks, yeah.
Yeah, legacy.
Correct.
100%.
So that, I feel like you embody that pretty well. Like you'd be the first one to arrive, last one to leave, clean the place, and make it known that you're doing it.
Yeah. No doubt. You're right.
Why?
Right. It's probably a question I have to ask myself.
Because I'll give you some framework to that question, because I know that Frontline is a successful business. Obviously, you guys are continuing to grow and you want to do more and you're never going to be done, right? But quote unquote success, right? 21-year-old Moe would never have thought would have what you have now. And I feel like a lot of business owners in that spot of hitting some sort of tangible success where they're further ahead than they thought they would be. Ego pipes up massively, like, no, fuck this. I'm not doing those jobs. I'll either go pay someone to do it, or I'll outsource it to someone else, or I'll just tell the new person to do it. And I don't think even if you turn into a multi-8-figure company, I don't think that'd be you. It's very heavily ingrained into your character from what I know. So where's it come from, and like, what's the lesson there?
Yeah, I'm smiling because you're so on track right there, bro. It happens almost every Saturday. I'll stay back 4 or 5 p.m. Everyone's gone, and I'm left there vacuuming and mopping the gym.
Yep.
And do you know how many times it crossed my mind, look up cleaner around me? But I don't. Yeah. I haven't yet done that. I don't know. I've got to ask myself that question, like, why aren't you finding a cleaner to do it instead of yourself? But I'm okay with doing it. I don't know what it is.
Do you think you still have something to prove? Like, is it like you just never thought you would, so now you have to do it all?
Yeah. Oh, mate, I don't know. I don't know the actual answer behind why I'm happy to stay back and literally sweep the floors. But again, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
and I feel great when I'm done.
And I think like, I don't know many entrepreneurs that would be able to answer it well.
Yeah.
Because like, I think it's just something that's like, it just has to be done. It just is. Matter of fact. You get it done and you get enjoyment out of it. Why? Who knows? I'm the same, bro. I sit here and I clean shit. Like I'll be the first one in, last one out all the time, every day. It's like, I can't answer the question myself, to be honest.
Yeah. And it doesn't come from a place of ego.
No.
No way in the world, man. Like, I'm not there trying to boast about me mopping the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just doing it because I want to do it.
Yeah.
And it needs to be fucking done.
Yeah. I agree. Let's kind of wrap the back end of this story up, bro. So, biggest lesson so far in business, not just startup or scale up, but across the whole time span of what you've run and what you've created. Biggest lessons.
All right, this is going to be quite personal, but be careful of your relationships around you when you're trying to chase success. And the reason why I say that is, mate, I've been engaged for 4 years and it was going into the dumps because of the hours I was putting in for my business. And this is where I was coming back to the priority system. Like, what can I do right now? What are 1 to 2 things I have to really do well in right now? My relationship wasn't up there.
Yeah.
It was solely just business. And as a startup, as an entrepreneur, that's all I wanted to do was just business. And then I had some hard conversations and realized, okay, it's time to look after some of the relationships around you, mate. You got no fucking friends and you're going to lose your partner.
Yeah.
So that's been a big lesson for me, is just kind of like understanding how to just balance out some things in life as an entrepreneur, as a startup. Like I you have to put those hard hours in it. It's understandable. But at the same time, if there's loved ones around you who really fucking love you, don't just fucking push it to the side because you're just trying to chase your own success. Like, cleanse your lenses a bit more and give people around you a little bit more time that they deserve.
I love that. That's
it's coming from a fucking place of honesty, bro.
Yeah. Thank you. That's I don't think many people are open to say it, because I've been there too, bro. I've definitely been there, where it's where I've previously openly said like, nah, business, you, and I've said it, bro, and it's not good. It's
not, and I've said it as well, Rhys. All right, I've said literally like, just hang in there.
I'm doing it for our future. There ain't gonna be one if you don't fucking pay attention to the now, though. Yeah. Yeah,
but we're fucking sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel ya.
Like, but we only understand it. Yeah. Unfortunately, we only understand that, and there's no way we can articulate it either.
Yeah.
But it's so true and honest, and it's raw.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like, we're being honest. But sometimes, as I said, man, like, you got to look after those relationships if they really mean something to you as well.
Yeah, fully agree, bro. Where can people find you? What you do? Let's give Frontline a big pump.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we're on Instagram, so _ Frontline Fitness _ or myself, Moe _Faour. Starting to crank TikTok a little bit more now. But yeah, man, mostly Instagram at the moment.
Awesome, bro. And where is the gym?
We're on Canberra Road in Belmore. So if you're from the area, come check us out.
Make sure you drop him a mention that you've heard his story. I'm sure he'll look after you.
Of course I will, man.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining in. 5-star review, do the things, algorithm stuff. I don't know what it does, but it does stuff. So thank you. Have a good day. See you later.
See ya.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.